as president of NCS, let me begin first with the basic question. Did you vote in Saturday's election? And what was if you did vote, what was your experience with using beavers and the other technologies that were introduced to improve the efficiency of the conduct of these elections?
Okay, well, I did not vote in this last election. I was actually involved in INEC assignments too. I went to my polling unit in the morning. I stayed for about 3 hours, and it did not get to my time. And because of that, I decided to leave because I didn't have all the time. But I actually made effort to vote. My polling unit was crowded. There are so many people there, and even with the fact that they have created another polling unit around my area, that place was crowded. And when I even went forward to plead that I'm going to be involved in INEC activity, that they should just allow me to vote, even the people there, they were just shouting, and they were saying, no, so I just left. So, but I saw everything because I was actually there for about 3 hours or even more, So I saw everything, but I could not vote. To go to the next question that you raised, the issue of beavers. Well, from what I've seen, I would believe that in terms of what the beavers was made to achieve, in terms of the expected functionality of the beavers, I think the beavers on its own, it was able to achieve, I'm going to say about 70-80% efficiency in terms of being able to ensure that people that are qualified to vote, after registration are the ones that have actually voted. Beavers was introduced so that you'll be able to eliminate some of the problems with card readers. Problems like the use of incidence form, people that are not qualified to vote on printing, and so on and so forth. The problem of coercion, and so on and so forth. So, is not with beavers. If it's used the way it should be used, we are also not going to have the problem of overvoting, and so on and so forth. But all these are also really correlated to human factors, So because the technology, the device will work according to how we have designed it. But human being must also operate it, and the operation must also go in line with what has been set out. So those are about beavers. I don't think the problem is really beavers. Our own problem in Nigeria about our electoral system is more than the use of beavers. And that is why, long time ago, that is why Nigeria Contact Society, we were even saying that we should allow, even if it's going to be in parallel, we should allow full-scale e-voting system. So that people can also be able to vote at the comfort of their homes. And the people that don't have internet and so on can go to a place where they can now go to polling units to go and cast their votes. In my state, there were couples of incidences that even somebody called me and was saying that how we should have used beavers to correct that. When thugs came to a polling unit and then they were shooting, they scattered everything. It was only one policeman that was there. He could not handle them. The man also ran away from the scene, and those people, they scattered the ballot boxes. They even took some of them away. And that is not the problem of beavers. Beavers would not solve that kind of problem. So our problem in Nigeria is more than that. And they came to scatter that polling unit because they knew they were losing in that polling unit. And that has to do with the issue of security. So, but what happened in the last election, if you are talking about technology, the use of technology, no technology is free from all these cybersecurity attack, fraud, manipulation, and so on and so forth. So, and that is why there are some processes you need to go through. You need to ensure when you are also adopting technology. Before the election, we have been making efforts long time ago. And before the election, we had the opportunity to visit INEC. We could not meet, we didn't meet with the chairman, but we met one of the commissioners, and we submitted our proposal. We submitted a recommendation that, something like guide on what they can do and how NCS can also assist them. About 14 or 15 recommendations, and one of them is that all the systems that you want to use, you must ensure that you evaluate them. You must ensure that you continue to test your system platforms. They told us that they are testing at what level? By the time they are now talking about national election, yes, you have used it in Osun, you have used it in so many other places, two other places. But you are talking about national election. You have to test about the robustness of your system, the stress testing. You have to look at the efficiency when you are also having so many data coming into it at a point in time, and so on and so forth. Well, that is one of the things we told them. And we said we could also assist them, but the issue is that, of course, INEC is like a close organization that they believe that some of the things they are doing is also right. A long time ago, before this time, the former director they don't even make it possible for us to see the channel. But the new director made it possible. But unfortunately, we could not see the channel. So, and one of the things we also told them is that they must be cautious of cyber attacks. Yeah, some of them were coming in before the election, and they also reported it. The chairman also mentioned it, and they said they were able to handle them. But because you are able to handle some now, it does not mean when you are now having the election, the people that you are stopping now, the attacks you are stopping now, the people that are perpetrating them, the cyber criminals, they will continue to also learn about your system, and they will be able to also get additional knowledge, additional information on how they can circumvent or penetrate your system. So, but that also we told them. Another thing we also mentioned to them is that we also want to serve as a technology observer. Let us monitor the use of beavers. Let us see how the people are using it. Then we also come at the end of the day, at the end of the election, give you our own technical opinion about how beavers is used, how we can improve on the use, and even how beavers is working. So before the election, our submission to them, we didn't even get any response. We were calling, they said we were busy preparing for election. So at our own level at Nigerian Computer Strategy, we have envisaged all this. We have seen that it's like they are using technology is good. We are moving towards that direction. But if you are also adopting technology and you are not bringing experts, I know INEC also has a lot of IT experts, but try to get in touch with them. From time to time, get expert opinion from stakeholders in technology about what you are doing. They are not coming to take your job. They are not, but it's just apart from what is being done internally, you also get a different opinion from stakeholders, from people that have experience, so many experts in so many domains. They'll be able to, and when you get your recommendation, then you'll be able to look at it. And even if the recommendations are going to be implemented by your staff or something, forget, by the time this issue started long time ago, even when they invited organizations, companies that were going to provide them with e-voting facilities or platforms. And we discovered that we were not invited. You only invited this organization. You didn't invite stakeholders or experts to also come out to what you are doing. And so there have been so many things that we have done in order to assist them. Now we have found ourselves in a situation where the server was down, even the dashboard IRF was not coming up, and we have known all this can be possible. And the only thing is that you must prepare adequately. You must ensure that your system is robust, your system is scalable, your system is survivable. At least even in the face of attack, your system must be able to work as if nothing is happening. So those are the kind of things that we have recommended. But maybe this one will make them to appreciate how to really handle technology better.
Okay, Prof, let me ask you a few follow-up questions. You are an insider and also an expert in this field. INEC put out a statement yesterday to summarize basically that, okay, it appeared that their system was overwhelmed, but that they didn't suffer a cyber attack. From your own perspective as an insider, what could possibly have been responsible? Was there cases of cyber attacks that you got to know of based on your own internal knowledge? That's the first thing. Secondly, the other key issue was this real-time reporting that was supposed to have been done from the polling unit to the INEC reports viewing portal that would have ensured that as votes are being counted, okay, from all over the world, you can keep track of it on that portal. That also did not happen as promised. So can you respond to these two questions? What you think could have happened, and what are the recommendations for fixing these anomalies against forthcoming elections?
Okay, well, I also heard what the chairman said yesterday, that the system did not face cyber attack. But you know that if you are not really an expert, if you are having cyber attack, you might not even know it's cyber attack. It depends on the level. You might not really know it's cyber attack. You just be thinking that something is wrong with your system. But I'm not even saying it's cyber attack. But it takes a certain knowledge of cyber security before you also be able to say that the problem you are facing is even cyber or not. Yes, it could also be stress-based attack, or like the chairman mentioned, that the system was overwhelmed. Why would you be saying that your system is overwhelmed? You know your population. You know the polling units that you have. You have an idea of people that will want to be transmitting results at a point in time. To have all this, how well have they been able to prepare? Yes, they told us they were going to do trial election, which they did. Who are the people they involved in this trial election? Did they take samples from the people that actually served as their polling officer or SPOs? Did they take samples from them? Who are the people they use? If they have used their staff wouldn't have been the people that will conduct the election. So most of the problems they are really operational. They have to do with the technology they have adopted. Yes, I think that idea is good, but even if you have a good technology idea and the human perspective, the operational perspective, you don't perfect it, you also get this kind of problem. It wasn't that the dealers could not send results, but even the server that they are going to send results to had issue. Many of them could not send results. So this election, they are still going to rely more on the results recorded. The people recorded and so on and so forth. And thank God that they did not say they were going to use online results alone. So the database was still done alongside with the transmission of results. Because the truth is that, from my own experience during the elections, the majority of the polling units could not transmit their results. Even some of the polling officers are complaining of the system not allowing them to have access to that platform to be able to transmit their results.
What do you think
So,
was responsible for this inability to transmit results, sir, if I may ask?
yes, well, I think one major reason is because I'm not going to say is a network, because I also have information that some of them even try another network and they could not still. I think the problem would be the system of INEC. I'm talking about the central system where the results will actually go to. You know, I'm thinking that is one of them. And of course, that is the server we are talking about. It was not, it did not have capacity to be able to take results at that time. Well, that is what I think. The second one that is not really major is the network. Because some of the polling officers actually complained that it was network that did not allow them to be able to transmit the results. But everything is about low robustness of their platform. You know, they have a distributed platform, but it's not too robust. And I thought that all this they should have been able to evaluate. They should have been able to subject the system to a kind of test that. And that is why we wanted to be involved, to advise them on what they can do, how they can prepare adequately for this election. Yes, you cannot just say, well, we are using technology, and technology will come on its own to solve the problem. In the use of technology, you still talk about people, you talk about operations, you know, and you talk about policies. You know, all these three other ones, people, policy, operational, and who make the technology to work. Technology on its own will not be there and do magic for you. So that is what I'm thinking. It's about the capacity of the robustness of their system, of their platform to be able to use. And I want to tell you, you know, one major attack that we call denial of service attack.
Correct.
You know, denial of service attack is an attack that will collapse your system. You know, that will make your system not to be able to continue to provide the services. And that is what has happened. But this they are saying is not a cyber attack. Well, I think from time will tell. Also because the truth is that INEC could not provide the service, the platform of INEC could not provide the services at that time. And that is what the denial of service attack will cause. So if it was caused by, yes, their system not too robust, you know, who provided the system, who tested the system, who prepared the system ready for election. Those are the issues, and those are the things we should look at. Even one of the things we mentioned to them is that we can get them to create a platform that will ensure that they are able to monitor the collection of PVC collection. You know, so that they will even be able to know, because, okay, in a polling unit now, I mean, in a local government, for example, if results of polling units, 2 polling units were cancelled, and you now need to declare results. That will, because before you declare results, if you don't want to recommend that by-election should take place in those 2 polling units that were cancelled, then you need to know the total number of registered voters. If the difference in the result of the first person is more, I mean, the difference between the result of the first and second, you know, is more than the difference, is more than the total number of registered voters in the 2 polling units. You know, then you can still go ahead to declare it. But the question again is that, are we supposed to use that? And I think what we are even supposed to use is the number of voters that have collected their PVC. Because you have said without PVC you cannot have an election. So we should be looking at those people that were actually qualified to vote, and those are the people that have actually collected their PVC. We recommended, let us supposed to monitor this, let us know. I think at the point in time they did not also have all the information about people that have collected their PVC, and that is why we still went ahead to use total number of registered voters. So those are you know, before when they were preparing for this election, they said they have learned from every election, from the election, from Australian election. But the issue is that you are preparing for national election, you need to bring so many things on board.
Prof, before, let me just quickly try to distinguish between some of the factors that you've talked about so that we can reasonably evaluate how effective technology has been in this instance. You painted the scenario. We have the INEC systems, both the BVAS, its own internal servers, and then you add the telecoms infrastructure on the other side. That's external. Majority of the complaint this time around, there was hardly any complaint around the telecoms infrastructure not being able to deliver in terms of expectation. And from some insider insight that I have, we've been able to gather, we understand that the NCC led collaboration with INEC in conjunction with the telecoms operators assisted to make this happen. Okay, so can you speak to these three critical elements? The system of INEC itself, the complementary telecoms network infrastructure around the country, as well as, more importantly, the human factor that you also highlighted. How have these three factors interplayed and how do you evaluate them?
Okay, well, let me start by talking about the telecommunication infrastructure. Even initially, FCC went to National Assembly now and was saying that they didn't think that the NCC has a communication platform that will guarantee electronic transmission of results. But immediately we wrote our own comment to NCC that there is something that they must be able to do. It's something that is even possible. And we compare it with even JAM election. JAM examination. That one also, when students finish their exam at a particular session, they must also upload the results. And they are also using this, our national telecommunication infrastructure. So, but the issue again is that there are some polling units that are remote, and of course they make provision that even if you move to some other location, you will still be able to transmit your results. At first, come to local government, you will still be able to transmit your results. So, like you have said, I also painted that as a very minor, factor that affected affected the election we had during the weekend. It was minor because even those that did not have network problems, because some of them, very few of them still complain about network. Well, but even those that had network problems, many of them still could not transmit their results. So it is more of the problem INEC has. And we have to get them to let us know the problem. They are saying it's about capacity. Tell us the testing you did on this system. Tell us the results you got. Tell us how you conducted your testing. Tell us who are the people that assisted us or assisted you to do this testing. You cannot, if you want people to assist you, you must be open. You must know. I have said later in the day, I'm also still going to call the director of ICT. He's the new director, who is also our member, to find out, to get details of what are their challenges, and let us know how we can come. But the server, the system, the platform of INEC is really the major issue here. Then let me also talk about the human factor. But from what I've said, I did not really see the human factor in terms of the operation of BVAS recorded results that will affect the result of the election. I did not see that. Because, I mean, Beavers still came with a record of people that are qualified to vote. And the good thing this time around is that after your accreditation, unlike what we used to have when we were using Candida, that after accreditation, everybody will go back to sit down and they will not give us another time we can come to vote. So after accreditation, immediately you go to vote. And if you want to leave that environment, you can leave that environment. So it makes it easier. Do accreditation, vote, and go. And the system, Beavers, you also record that after accreditation, it has noted that you have come to vote. So we have record of those that have voted. So they are not supposed to also disclose those people that have voted, but we have the record of people that have voted in all the polling units, because they have our record, our fingerprint, our photo. So they have the records of people that have voted in all the polling units. So that is, we have data. Unlike before, this data is difficult to get. So Beavers operations, even some of the coppers they use, they are able to use it very well. The problem some of them are even had is maybe little competition, addition, and so on and so forth. And when they will get to their supervisor, they were able to resolve some of those issues. So, in terms of what happened affecting the result, I don't really see that is a major thing on the result. But, of course, it says a lot about the view, about what people have been telling INEC and why they have not listened to some people every time they were doing as if they were ready. Even the declaration, some people, a day before the election, some people were saying they are not sure whether the election was going to hold because of their level of preparation. Even they still go to some of the polling units late, but we were thinking we will have gotten more than that. But, towards the election, there are also so many issues in the country. The issue of data design. INEC was carrying out the needed cash, but eventually they were able to get it late into the election. And that could be all other things that have also affected INEC. But that is not before us. What we used to hear from INEC, that they were ready, the election will go on, they have gotten all the things they needed. So, the human factor, I'm not going to say it was challenging a little, but what was also major challenge for that election is also operational, inability to be able to do their processes, some of their processes, the way they should do it. Look at the entire election they did. That I got to know, I might not be right, that they were transmitting dummy results, dummy data, that the size is very, very low, and you are doing it for sample. If you are doing something for sample, you should even be transmitting large amount of data. That will, for example, you want to transmit the result from Osho. Estimate the data you can do. You want to transmit in Osho during the main election. Divide that into number of polling units that you are taking as sample. Then transmit the result at that time, even at the same time. See the effect on the platform. But even the process was not, and we try to caution them in some of them that don't use dummy, try to be real as much as possible, even go beyond your estimate, so that you'll be able to know how robust, how efficient the system will be during the election. So that is why I'm saying that it's about their operations. It's about the people that help them to design all these processes. We also evaluate processes. If you are, apart from evaluating technology, let us evaluate the processes and let's see whether the processes you have actually put on are actually good and are the best that can help us to guarantee the free, fair, inclusive, conclusive election that INEC has been pushing.
Okay, Prof, let me just ask a final question before we round up. What then? We have the gubernatorial elections just a fortnight away. So what then would you recommend as remedial measures that the Computer Society would provide or in terms of suggestions and recommendations to INEC, such that based on the lessons and learnings from this presidential election, that can be taken care of ahead of the next polls?
Yes, INEC must critically evaluate and test their platform. And that's number one. And they must get right people involved in designing the methodology to do the testing and evaluation of the system. It's not just possible for us to recommend that they can also do a trial election before that time. But if they do the kind of testing that are necessary, they will not really need to do it. They need to take their platform. And testing their platform is not that with this problem they had, somebody will now say the server is back tomorrow, and they go to sleep that the server is back. No. It is continuous testing of that platform they will do until the time for the election. And I know INEC has also spent a lot of resources on attack detection system, cyber attack management system. We need to also evaluate this cyber attack management system. We need to also, the people that are operating these platforms in the human factor angle, we need to try and identify them. And do you know something? And that is why we said we wanted to serve as technology observers. We wanted to really look deep into their operation so that we can advise. I'm not going to condemn INEC. What is important to a society like us is to ensure that technology are adopted, are deployed, are used the way they should be used. So this is encouraging people to use technology, and people are still having this kind of experience. Even as an expert in that field, we want to close your eyes because we'll be challenging you. Yes, we use this, but what kind of election did you see have? Yeah, we are doing electronic transmission of the results. What kind of election did you see have? So we are really concerned as a body. So we want them to majorly. I don't think the telecommunication infrastructure is our problem. Majorly, they should look at the operations, in terms of the policy, procedures, methodology, in doing all their major activities. They should review them. They should go do proper testing, critical testing and evaluation of all their platforms, of all their systems, and ensure that they continue to ensure adequate protection on their database and all their electoral information system. And again, finally, I want to say that members of NCS can also assist. We have submitted our recommendation, and they should try and look at our submission to them. Let's then see. They may not even take everything. Let's see how we can assist, how we can. The truth is that some of our members are still even saying before the election that the portal, the system of INEC, is still not attack proof. So I don't know what they have seen because I did not. I'm also a professor of cybersecurity, but I've not on my own. It's not ethical to start to probe a system without getting permission and approval. It's outside the law, so you cannot just try to probe a system. But obviously, if our members are also engaged to probe the system, to drive that system and be able to come up with identified vulnerabilities if they are available. But if they are not, we also be able to tell them some of the minor things they have to do, in ensuring that the system is protected from all forms of cyber attack. But apart from that, the operation, the system, the software, let me use the software itself, but the application itself, how is it working? How is it delivering its services? We need to also talk about that. How is it delivering the services? How do we guarantee that he is delivering the services the way it should be delivered? Then if it has been delivering the services, what happened during the election? We have to identify all this. And they must come out and tell us the technical challenges, not that we just be talking from our technical challenges. And that is why we also want to recommend that since they are moving towards the use of technology more, they should ensure that more IT experts are involved in the activities of INEC. You know, whether as full-time staff or as members of the management, as members of the commissioner. You know, appointing only politicians as commissioners might not really assist us. You know, we should be looking at even appointing 1 or 2 IT experts as members, commissioners in INEC. Maybe with that, we'll be able to see people around them that will talk to them, they will listen, they will understand the technology that, you know, because so many vendors go to them to say they can do this, they can do this. And I mentioned something. Even when they invited the organizations that they selected to come and provide the e-platform for them, they did not invite stakeholders. So they would have taken decisions on their own without advice from stakeholders. So those are the kind of problems that caused the challenge they had last election.